True.
Are you a fan of the play-in tournament?
Oh, I'm not. I'm not. Okay, I understand why they did it. They did it to make teams more competitive throughout the whole year, so they don't sit players and stuff like that, right? Because even right now, I think in the West, some guys can fall into the playing tournament. So now it's forcing competitive basketball games and as close as possible to the end of the season. So I get that aspect of it, but again, I'm kind of old school. I kind of miss the 1-8 format. You know what I'm trying to say? Because now a team that's eighth or seventh could potentially miss the playoffs based on two games, right? Because even
Yeah.
because you're 7 to 8, you'd have to lose two times to get out of the playoffs or whatever, get a chance in the playoffs. So that part I don't like because it's just like okay, I played so hard to be the seventh seed, and now potentially a 10 seed could potentially be the seventh seed. I mean eighth seed, sorry, my bad, eighth seed. So like that aspect I don't really like, but I understand why the NBA did it, and I know a lot of players don't like it, but they gotta blame their peers at this point because they're not playing. Sorry, they're not taking the regular season serious. And there's
Yeah.
one thing I've noticed that the plane has created an environment where it's like people are talking about the top six now. Okay, we have to get top six, be in top six. Da 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 da. So that kind of makes it more competitive in that middle ground. So like I said, I understand it, but I don't like it. But because of these guys and the way they take how serious they take the game and stuff like that, it has to be done. So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna really fight on it, you know.
Yeah. Like I think I don't really think much of it. Like if you're seventh or eighth, like you barely got in anyways. I don't like honestly I like fight a little bit longer. I honestly don't even like I don't even care. Like it really just shows who wants to be in that position because if you give it up, then you give it up, and then you still got to go after like, first or second, in the first round of the playoffs. So whoever fights for those positions really want it. That's how I kind of see it. So um, yeah, I don't really feel sorry for seventh and eighth, and it does make it competitive for. I'm just being honest. I think it just makes it more
I don't feel
competitive
sorry for
for.
you.
I just think it makes it more competitive for people trying to end up, fourth, fifth, sixth. Um, yeah, it just makes it a little bit more of a tighter race, and those positions really matter. Like you know what I mean? So because you wouldn't like sometimes you would want to go after second seed. Like what if you wanted to play Houston and not the Lakers? So
Yeah,
you would fall to seventh purposely, but then now
right.
you got to fight for seventh. So it makes teams finish strong. Um, Although they already should have, it makes them finish a little bit stronger. So I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah, but is it fair? Is it fair though, right? Because in the NBA, at the end of the day, these are the best 400 to 450 players in the league, right? Anybody can beat
Yeah,
anybody on any given night, right? In the West right now, it's who's it? You got Golden State that's 10 games ahead of the Mavericks right now, who's in 10th
yeah,
place, right? Let's just say the playing stays the way it is. Is it right now that because the Mavericks, who are 10 games behind the Warriors, the Mavericks have a two-game hot streak, get into the playoffs just because they played well for 2 games, and the Golden State Warriors, based on their record, they played well the whole entire season. I guess that's the part I don't like. It's just that I understand the NBA, anybody can beat anybody, and
hmm
somebody can get injured in one game because in a playoff series it takes four to lose, right? So, but in a play-in it takes one to lose. So if I'm having one bad game or I get injured, like let's say I roll my ankle, that could heal in 3 days. Like in the playoffs, if I roll my ankle in game one, I can still have a chance to heal it for maybe game two or game three or game four. But in a playing term, if I roll my ankle, I'm out for that game and maybe the next playing tournament game. So that's the part I just
yeah,
don't like. It's just that I don't think it's fair if
yeah.
if those guys, if a 10 seed can get in just because they played basketball great for 2 games. And
You know
and
what?
and sorry, and then it compromises potentially round one now because now you have a 10th seed masking as an 8th seed facing a first seed. That's not going to be entertaining basketball in my opinion. So, but my
You know
bad,
what?
my
You
bad.
know, I think it makes it even more entertaining, and I'll tell you why. Because it's not, it's not laws, and it's not politics, and it's not voting rights. It's not reality of life. It's a game, and I think in every good game, there has to be some crazy twist. Like
Fair enough.
in any given game, one roll of the dice can determine the whole game or a position for that's going to set the precedent for the whole game. And I think the more kind of twists, snakes and ladders, chest and community box and this, that, and the third, where you could land and actually get something good. I think that's what defines every good game. Like if you have some type of weird variable like that. And I think that it adds to the entertainment, because if a team that is obviously like it's probably not going to play in our favor if Dallas beats Warriors right now, because we would prefer to see the Warriors in the playoffs. But what if the Warriors, traded for Jimmy Butler, and then they still, were in like 8th or 7th or 9th or whatever, and then they got to the 7th position because their team changed, and they end up in 10th, and now they're playing, I don't know, T-Wolves or something, and then that makes it even a little bit more competitive for that short time. Like it's like I don't know. In every single game, there has to be kind of like another round separate from like the expected game to kind of throw the game off. Even like I'm just thinking like war in cards. Like when like you guys could like you could lay a 4 down and I could put a 4 down. And then you have to put 3 cards upside down. You could be ace, king, queen, whatever. And then you could beat me, and like it could just the whole trajectory of the game.
True.
I think that's what every kind of industry of gaming, like you have to have some type of like lottery in it. Like we see it throughout the NBA. Like you have a bad year, and then you get higher chances of the first pick, but not necessarily the majority pick. So it's still it keeps the game going. I think it really makes things weirder and weirder, and I think every game kind of has to have that aspect to it.
True, but I guess well, yeah, the Golden State argument is easy to make because like the Golden State Warriors is a team that everybody's gonna want to watch. Steph Curry, whether Jimmy Butler's there or not. But like, what if it's a team that doesn't have a superstar on it, or who doesn't have a large fan base and stuff like that? And I'm saying from the NBA's perspective when it comes to money and advertising and all that stuff, because obviously people are gonna want to watch LeBron, Curry, Jokic, the Boston Celtics, like certain teams, certain players and stuff like that. And I'm saying like if those guys get knocked out because they don't have a good one game, you're potentially now losing a whole round of basketball based on good what word am I looking for? Like a great audience is what I'm trying to say. Like you have a great audience versus now, because like I'm pretty sure the 2023 the NBA Finals between the Heat and the Nuggets, like that was not that great when it came to like the audience watching and stuff like that. So that's all I'm saying. That's the only part I just don't like. But yeah, I get what you're saying. When there's a variable, it makes the game more interesting. Like I said, there's been more talk about since like December. Like we need to stay on the top 6. Top 6 is where we need to be. You know what I'm trying to say? We didn't really have this conversation when it was 1 to 8, because 1 to 8 is like it's a lot of spots. So it's like, okay, we can get to 6, 7, 8 where we'll be okay. But now it's like no, we need to be top 6. So yeah, so I definitely hear you on that.